The Transformation Motivation is a weekly podcast featuring people that have made extraordinary transformations within their health and fitness journey, and maybe even their life. The podcast is an opportunity for real-life transformation stories to discuss their story for others to relate to. Too many times, there are people with these social media transformation stories that have doctored up photos, so we want to highlight real people with real stories people can relate to. We'll get insider strategies, tips, step-by-step of how they did it, and challenges they faced along the way. Now, get ready for the Transformation Motivation Podcast.
So, let's get started with everything. So excited that you're here to join us today. Let's talk a little bit about Mary, who you are, where you're from, like where you started in this whole journey, and how you started in this whole journey.
Well, I am 32 and I am married. I've been married for 7 years, and I have a 13-year-old daughter who I got pregnant with when I was a senior in high school. I was a single mom for many, many years, put myself through college, started working as a phlebotomist lab tech at a major hospital here in Texas, where I'm from. I'm from Austin.
Whoop, whoop, Austin, Texas.
Yes, don't you know? But so then I met my husband, and now we have 2 kids of our together, a 5-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. And so, I mean, once I had my son, he's 5 now, I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. It was just easier, for one thing, financially for me to stay home.
Oh, yeah.
And I always, I worked dang hard when I was single mom, and I hustled and I did the thing. And so my husband was like, listen, this is what I want you to do now. Stay home, raise our kids. And that's what I've been doing. So it's nice. I really like it.
Cool. So kind of walk us through this whole process. It looks like, I mean, just on the outside looking at the photos, I'm trying to figure out your journey. For you, when did your journey actually start in terms of like your fitness journey, your weight loss, and all that stuff?
So it started to the date, April 24th. So almost a year. I'm almost at a year. I can't wait for my year mark. April 24th.
That's a pretty exact date. Like,
yeah, April 20th. I'll always have that date in my head. April 24th is the day my life changed forever.
Why is that so significant, that date and time?
Well, because, and I don't know why. It's not even a special day. It's just a day that I decided I was going to go buy a scale, because I had no idea how much I weighed. And I knew that I had gained a bunch of weight because I suffered from depression, postpartum depression, and from PTSD from almost dying after surgery in 2017. And so after that happened, I basically just turned to food, and I would just eat and eat and eat, and I would basically eat my feelings. So I knew that I had gained a bunch of weight, and I needed to face that. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy a scale, just see where I'm at. And so I went, and on April 23rd, got the scale, weighed myself April 24th, and it was 203 pounds. And I just remember that gut feeling of like, oh my gosh, because not even like when my daughter was born, I was 170 pounds, and she was a little over a year. So I had gained a bunch, 30 pounds just in a short amount of time. And the reality set in, like, this needs to stop before it gets worse.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you said that, and it sounds like that was the date you made a decision.
Yeah.
Like, that was a line in the sand date. Like, so
that
for a lot of
April 24th.
For a lot of folks that I talk to, they're at a point where they need to draw the line in the sand. Like, people call me or message me all the time, like, I need to get started with something. And the first thing to, like, for some people to get started, they have to be at extreme pain.
Yep.
Like, it has to be either extreme pain or through the roof motivation. They got to be like so utterly motivated that they're ready to make a decision, or they just got to be in so much pain till the doctor tells them you're going to die unless you do this.
Yeah, that's right. I know. I think maybe it was a mixture of the two. Now, I didn't have a doctor telling me I was going to die, but I think it was a mixture of the two, of like, if I continue down this road and I start feeding myself what I'm doing now, and like even mentally telling myself the things I've been telling myself, like physically feeding myself the stuff I've been doing, it's going to get worse. So from that day on, I took it upon myself to change basically everything, basically everything. And it was a slow process. It didn't happen overnight. And I still work on it today.
Yeah.
And, but that day I changed my life, and I will be forever grateful for myself that I did that.
Now, what was the mentality behind this whole transformation for you? Like, was it a specific weight goal, or was it that I'm walking this journey and I'm going to make it a lifelong thing? Like, how was that mentally?
At first it was, to be honest. At first it was like, at first my main goal was to hit 140 pounds. And I didn't know how long that was going to take. I knew nothing about fitness. I literally knew nothing. So I would spend, like, at night when my kids would go to bed, I would like read articles or like search on YouTube. So I knew nothing. So at first, yes, it was, I want to be 140 pounds. And then as time went on, I realized I feel good. Like, I'm feeding myself the stuff I need to feed myself. I'm working out, I'm moving. I feel good. Like, I want this to be my life from now on. So at first, yes, it was like, I just want to lose weight. But now it's like, this is going to be my life. Like, this healthy lifestyle will be my life forever. So I think as time went on, it changed.
Gotcha. Now, what would you say to the person that's like at that point where they're like, okay, I'm overweight and I just need to, you know, they may be 200 pounds at 5'4", and they're like, I need to get down to like 150, like quickly.
I would say, well, the quickly part, I would say, now you can tell yourself you want to do it quickly, but your body might not listen to you. You've got to learn that this is a patience thing. Some weeks you're going to lose 3 pounds, and some weeks you're going to lose a half a pound.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully you can get it in your head that this is going to be, that you want this to be a lifestyle, and that you don't want to sit there and lose 50 pounds in 3 months, because that's not sustainable for the normal person. You want to just change your habits, make yourself healthy, and remember, you have to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. But remember to, be consistent. It's not about, okay, I ate healthy for 2 weeks now, where are my abs? Like, you have to be patient, you have to be consistent, and, just remember that it's not going to happen overnight. And hopefully, with the hard work and the dedication, you'll get there, because it's not magic. It's not like it's going to happen for one person, it doesn't happen for another. It will happen to you. It might not be in the same timeline as X, Y, and Z, but it will happen if you stay dedicated.
It's funny. I set up like programs all day long. So one of my clients asked me, like, she's like, okay, what's the secret? Like, I want to know the secret. I was like, the secret is there is no secret.
There isn't.
The secret there is that there is no secret. The secret is like within you and your limiting beliefs that you pour on yourself that holds you back from achieving the results that other people have achieved. Yeah. So, like, as you're walking through your journey, your weight loss journey, you're starting to see progress and everything starts to pick up steam. What made you want to start like putting your story on social media?
Well, first off, there's not that many moms out there that are like in my position where we're stay-at-home moms. It's actually a lonely time. When you're a stay-at-home mom, it gets lonely. You're with your kids all day. You're not around adults. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start this. After talking to a friend, she encouraged me to do it, and she was like, you should share your story more. I think people can really relate to your story. So I was like, okay, I will. And then I started, and then more and more moms kept reaching out to me like, oh my gosh, like, your story, it's touching me, like, you're helping me, you're motivating me. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I never would have thought, but it was just more like connecting with other women. Yeah. That was my main goal, was just to start connecting, because you lose that connection when you're at home with your kids all day. And so
I could only imagine.
Yeah. So for me, that was a part of my journey, was like starting to, because I totally withdrew myself from people for a period of time where I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to have connection with other women or like make friends. Like, I didn't want that, because I was at such a low point. So then finally, like around August, I decided, you know what, like, I'm at a better place mentally than I have been in a very long time. I'm going to start sharing my story, keep me accountable, and help motivate other women, and moms especially was my main thing, because being a mom can be a lonely thing. And so
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my main goal, and I think so far I hope I've done a good job at it.
Yeah, it seems like you're creating a nice little community there, and
Yeah.
and sharing your story with others that can relate to you, and they might find like inspiration from that. And you, like you said, you probably see it in your comments, in your messages. Like people are like, "Thank you so much for sharing. I needed that. I needed to hear that." And for the most part, we want to be connected to another person's story or another person in general, because for the most part, I feel like a lot of us humans have lost that human touch, like where we feel like it's personal anymore. Everything's just so like scrolling through pictures really quick, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they're awesome. Let's talk about different challenges that you may have faced along your journey. Like, what are some of the big like challenges that you had to possibly overcome within your journey?
Yeah. So I would say one, it's having people see you differently. Like when for instance, my family, my husband's family, they've really only seen me as a bit of overweight. Like I never was like super overweight, but I never was definitely as lean as I am now. My biggest challenge is people accepting your new lifestyle, accepting the fact that you're not who you were before. You don't eat the way that you did before, and you may be skinnier than you were. So my biggest challenge is people accepting the fact that you are bettering yourself, or not telling you that you are skin and bones, those types of things, because I think that's the hardest part for people that are close to you, is realizing that weight loss is, they don't understand weight loss. They put weight loss as, oh, she must be anorexic, or she's doing it the bad way. There's no way she's doing it healthy, because they don't understand it.
Gotcha.
I think that's my biggest thing, is the support from your family.
Now, how do you work through that personally? Like for anyone that's experiencing that same thing, where they used to maybe like be overweight, and now they're, you know, walking the path of, you know, embracing a healthier lifestyle, and their family starts to look at them differently. What advice would you give to that person that's struggling, or how do you deal with that?
For me, I talk about it to the people that do understand, for one. Like, you know, that's one thing about great about social media, is I have made friends that are walking the same path as I am. And so it's easy to reach out to them, be like, you know, I need your advice. What do you think I should do? So that's always good. And also it's just basically continuously explaining to them, like, this is who I am now. I'm not unhealthy. I eat what I'm supposed to eat. Like, it's going to be a continuous thing. And eventually they'll understand. So, I mean, that's just basically how I deal with it. It's just, I try my hardest not to let it get to me. And yes, sometimes it does, especially the "your skin and bones" comment. I cringe at that. Like, I cringe. I'm literally lifting heavier than I ever have lifted before. I'm stronger than I've ever been before. I'm eating way better than I ever have before. And now they have something to say that because I'm skinny, but never when I was overweight. Never said anything to me when I was overweight. So you just have to keep reminding them.
You blended in with them. You were like one of them. You were one of us. And now you're different. So you know, we ridicule what we don't understand.
Yes.
Like, well, not we, but like people ridicule or talk bad about what they don't understand. You know, from a healthy perspective. You know, I can't say anything like that's super extreme. But I mean, but anything that we don't understand, you know, sometimes is exposed to a little bit of ridicule. So let's talk a couple tactical things, because I know it's been some key things that's brought you to this point. Some habits, some daily habits, or some things that you may do on a daily basis that's helped you get to the point where you're at now. Let's talk tactical strategy things for all the folks that are walking the walk right now, that are doing the things to reach their goals. What have you done that have been key factors in helping you in your transformation? Like daily things.
Daily things is every night. I tend to now, because I track my macros, that's been It's not for everybody. Not everybody has to track their macros, but I've done it from day one. I took a little bit of lull in like August where I was kind of like traveling and stuff where I didn't track and I was more intuitively eating, but I have been doing it since day one. I did my research. I would research to no end, listening to podcasts, reading articles, to learn what I thought I could do for me. Now I track my macros and I have been, and so every night I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, what am I going to eat? And typically I eat the same things because it's easier. I know what works for me. I found the foods that work for me. So I pretty much eat the same things and I'll just kind of mix it up a little bit here and there. And that's easy for me. Some people say, oh, it gets boring, but I have a goal. And so I just eat foods that I enjoy. And yes, I have treats. I'll work it into those macros because if I want ice cream, I'm going to have that ice cream and I'm going to work it in. If I want a cookie, I'm going to have a cookie and I'll work it in.
But the point is that you work it in, like you
Yes.
journal every day.
Yes.
So for the people that are like, man, I work out so hard, I deserve this cookie. But are you tracking the numbers? Are you journaling? Yes. Are you keeping up with how those calories and those grams of sugar, grams of carbs, those extra things are affecting your daily numbers? A lot of people don't know because they are intuitively eating and guessing and then just assuming like, oh, okay, since I've eaten healthy all week, I can.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you track for a long time, I genuinely believe if you stick to it for a period of time, you'll learn, and eventually you can intuitively eat because you'll learn, like eventually, but at first, no. And at first, as a beginner, you have to let yourself be a beginner. And that's it. You've got to walk the journey step by step in order to become quote unquote pro or whatever. Yeah. Like, and I'm still tracking macros. I will probably track macros for a little while longer, and because I enjoy it.
It's funny because when I started years ago, this was probably like 20 years ago, like 98, 99, when I started like actually seriously getting into fitness. I played sports and all in high school, but when I got like into college around that time and got serious, we had a book. Like I had to go to Books A Million, pick up a book about like this thick with every single food item in it, and it had columns, and I had to like write it out. I had an actual food journal. Like,
and that's it holds you accountable in a way. I feel like. It's
yeah,
like,
okay, I mean, so somebody asked me how many calories is in a medium-sized apple. Like I knew it because I did it every single day.
Yes, that's why I always say like stick to what you know. You see these fancy things like, oh, make this healthy, and it's like if you want to succeed, trying to make a fancy meal. Every meal, you're gonna get so overwhelmed. Like, don't do it. Just stick to simple, healthy, easy meals that you like, and it'll be simple for you. Don't feel like you have to like make this gourmet healthy meal to like succeed in weight loss. No, like it can be easy, it can be tasteful, you can make things taste good, and you'll succeed. Weigh your food, because believe me, like you might think this is an ounce and it's maybe like 3 ounces. You don't know, but it's like learn what you're putting in your body and you will succeed. Because to me, tracking my macros is really what's led me to lose the weight and like build muscle. Because as I have lost weight, I've also built muscle. So now, I mean, now I'm in the process of a reverse diet. I've been in my reverse for a month now. So I am up to 2,100 calories through my reverse, and I have gained no weight and I have gained no inches. So eventually, you know, to me, I'm loving this phase as well as the weight loss phase. So it's nice.
Cool. So, any other dailies that are a must for you? Like we talked about the nutrition side of things pretty heavily. Any other things that are a must for you that you've incorporated that works well in helping you get to your goals?
Basically moving more. Before, you know, just sitting on the couch for a long period of time, that's basically what I would do. Just sit on the couch. Okay. Now I've learned, okay, we can sit on the couch and watch a show, but then now let's get up and get our body moving a little bit more. Let's not be just so sedentary all the time. I do that mostly every day. I just remember to keep my body moving. I remember to, like I said, continue to eat right. And that's basically what I do on a daily. I don't sit there and think, okay, I have to burn this many calories every day to succeed. No, it's just the consistency of keeping a routine on my workout. Like this is what I'm going to do this week. And this is what I'm going to eat this week. And it helps me to stay consistent because I'll hold myself accountable for it.
Okay. What about like your water intake and all that good stuff? Talk to us about like your fluids. Like, do you?
That's been a work in progress. That's not always easy. Drinking, you think it's easy to drink all this water. It's not easy. And I'm here to tell you it's not easy, but it's a must. Like I literally drink so much water. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning, but yes, drinking water is so important. Like I don't know how many times to say it. And believe me, I tell my friends this all the time, drink your water. It doesn't count when you're just drinking coffee and soda. Like you've got to drink your water. I drink so much water, like more than maybe the average person, I think.
So we're gonna kind of wind things down real quick. But one last thing, or two more things real quick. Okay. So best advice that either you can give or that you've received in your journey.
I would say there's two things. One, just be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. You know, it's not a linear, like just straight down thing. It's going to be ups and downs. Like I said before, 1 week you're going to lose, 1 week you might even gain, you know, different things play into factor with that. It's not going to be linear. Give yourself grace and give yourself time, because if you're consistent, it will pay off. And the other thing is, one thing that I read was people tend to tarnish their long-term goals with their short-term goals. My short-term goal was to lose weight. Now my long-term goal is to be strong, gain muscle. So just remember, don't stay in the deficit forever. Give your body some time to recover from that. And then you could, like, for instance, me, like I'm doing a reverse now, to give my body some time to recover from that, because I was doing it for 10 months. Yeah. And so just, you know, give yourself some grace. That's my biggest advice.
Okay. All right. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace every now and then.
Yes.
So for you, I always like to talk, since this is going to be uploaded to the Transformation Motivation Podcast. What are some of your biggest things that you utilize for, or tools and resources for motivation? Like, is it a book? Is it books? Is it audios? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Or is it like a certain thing that you do for, like, what is it?
I would just realistically, it's just Instagram, the people that are on Instagram, because to me, those people that are walking this journey are real, and they're walking real journeys. Mm-hmm. You can sit there and follow bodybuilders all day long, but they may not know the real struggle, what it is to actually lose a large amount of weight. Mm-hmm. And to me, following somebody that's walked that path, that may have been that's now on the other side of it, mm-hmm. will completely understand where you're coming from. Someone who has never lost a huge chunk of weight may never understand mentally what the struggle is. And, you know, even now when I go shopping, I don't see myself as a size extra small. I still gravitate towards a large, or I'm still this, because mentally I'm there. I'm still there. So to me, it's seeing those real people, the real stories, the people that have done it and worked hard and come out the other side. That's what motivates me daily. People that follow me and share their stories with me, they're my motivation, 100%.
Wow. That's awesome. That's powerful. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty much all I have for you for today. I mean, you provided a lot of good content, good information. If I've got people that want to reach out to you and ask you questions, where would they find you? I'm guessing Instagram, but like, give us all your information if someone wants to reach out to you and ask you any questions.
So I have my Instagram. It's Mary McKee Fit. So you can follow me there. I post every day, whether it be, right now I'm doing a workout guide. So I don't post workouts at the moment, mm-hmm. Because I'm doing it through a guide. But I do, when I was doing it on my own, I was posting workouts. I post recipes, tips, transformations, all the things.
Gotcha.
So.
Cool, cool. So you guys have it there, Miss Mary McKee Fit, and she is getting super fit with her muscles.
Oh, you know it.
And super
Especially in
strong.
this reverse, all the carbs are really helping me out. I'm loving
Yes.
it. I'm loving it right now.
Giving you that edge to lift.
Yes.
So any questions, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to her. And I want to thank you guys for checking in to the Transformation Motivation Podcast, where we bring you lovely people like Miss Mary, who's had like tremendous results and has a great testimony and a great story. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much.